Today I'm joined by Sheena Ramsey, a pharmacist. Hi, Sheena.
Hi.
So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Sheena Ramsey, and I've been a pharmacist for almost 12 years now. I currently work in the private sector at Pharmaceutical Plus in Spite St. Peter.
Okay, Sheena. So you know the impact of COVID-19. People would have been rushing to the supermarkets. They would have been rushing for all kind of essentials, and the pharmacy as well too would have also felt the rush of people coming in. How have you guys as pharmacists been able to help people in preparation for this virus?
Basically, as you said, everyone actually experienced the rush of people um, in the pharmacy setting. Lots of people were coming in, obviously concerned about their medication, because in the case if something happens, everyone wanted to be able to have at least a month's supply. Drug Service is actually doing an initiative where at the hospital and the public sector, basically at the clinics, once stock is actually available, you can actually get 2 months medication ahead of time. The private sector is actually doing the same thing too as well. But as you would know, we're trying to prohibit hoarding of medication because we want to make sure everybody has to at least 1 month and not like one person buying 6 months and the next person not able to get an additional month for themselves. So that's how we've been dealing with it, basically making sure our patients have an additional supply of medication, obviously as the stock is available.
And what were some of the general questions that you guys were getting when this virus first came up and even before we went to stage three?
Basically, hand sanitizer, Lysol, any type of disinfectant. People were, crazy buying, trying to figure out how you can get it. As you would know, that went out of stock first, like the Lysol spray and Clorox wipes. Those went out of stock almost, say, within a day or two. So we had a lot of people coming in asking, how can I actually protect myself? What can I use? And that type of thing. As you would know, people have been making their own hand sanitizer. So what I usually advise people to do, just keep it simple. You have alcohol. You can, if you have a spray bottle, you can actually use this alcohol in a spray bottle. Glycerin is another something that people were actually adding to the hand sanitizer. Basically as a moisturizer so that it wouldn't dry out your hands. But that went out of stock almost immediately. So I was recommending people can actually use like vitamin E oil as another good substitute. Also aloe vera gel, people were putting that in the hand sanitizer. And that is also out of stock. But funny thing, a lot of people didn't know you can use something like lubricating jelly, which is another gel-based substance, to actually put in your hand sanitizer to make it jelly.
Wow. So you had part-time chemists then
Yes,
creating.
a lot of part-time chemists. That
Wow.
was actually another problem too as well because people were then mixing like bleach with other things that they shouldn't be mixing. So just keep it simple, people. Use a couple drops of bleach or even Clorox, and don't mix it with anything else. You can dilute it, but just don't mix the chemicals together. You can end up with burns. You can end up inhaling and actually damaging your nasal mucosa and stuff. So just keep away from that stuff if you can.
And one of the things that the chief medical officer would have advised people not to take was ibuprofen. Have anything else been added to that list that people should not take if they feel any symptoms? What should people generally do when they feel as if it's either flu symptoms or symptoms of the virus?
Right. Panadol or paracetamol has actually been always the drug of choice for like influenza or cold and that type of thing. It usually helps really well with fever. It helps with that aches and those aches and pains that you usually feel and the chills that you get. It actually works very well. Um, you are not supposed to use ibuprofen or the class of drugs that it actually falls under, which is called NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Basically, that includes stuff like naproxen, Cataflam, Voltaren, even like Arcoxia, Mobit, that type of things. Those are actually some of the stuff you shouldn't use, that you're advised not to use if you suspect that you have COVID-19. But as
And
I said, paracetamol is a drug of choice.
and finally, what would you advise Barbadians to do during this time for people who aren't taking it seriously or people who may before the stage three or even now still trying to hoard medication or hoard supplies?
Basically, don't panic. People just need to just not panic. I find a lot of people, it's basically panic driven. So everybody is worried about what could happen or, what if sort of situation. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be prepared, but you have to approach everything with some common sense. So like what I would try to tell people, even I think most pharmacists have done too as well, you can call in your repeats. So rather than everybody flocking to the pharmacy one time, you can call your pharmacy, call in your repeat, let the pharmacist know what you want. And most pharmacies actually do that. They can actually have your package there ready and waiting, so that rather than having to line up and, you know, being a crowd with a whole bunch of people, you can just come in, pick up your medication and go. Also, we've been advising older patients, if they have family members, younger family members, or anyone younger that's willing to do the, you know, running a boat for them, they can actually just send them to pick up their medication. Most pharmacies actually have like WhatsApp groups sometimes and like numbers that you can actually do that sort of thing. And I think some pharmacies even offer delivery service too as well. So as I would tell people, just ask your pharmacist. Most people have relationships with their pharmacists and their pharmacies. So just ask the question and, I mean, make the pharmacist's life easier and yours too as well. So that's one thing I would add. Also, Kobie, I'd like to add too as well, the wearing of gloves for some people. Just to point out, to be honest, I think the gloves protect the person more than it protects other people around them. So just as a precaution, something I've actually noticed, people have been wearing gloves and they're not aware of what they're doing. So they'll be taking money and then they would actually go to like personal stuff like their phone or water bottles and actually touch the nozzle where they're about to drink. So that's just one thing I noticed. People just need to be aware of what they're doing so that they protect themselves too. Because when you go and touch surfaces with your gloved hands, you're still not helping yourself. So that's one thing I noticed, that I think people should just be aware of what they're doing when they actually have on stuff like gloves and masks. They're trying to protect themselves and others, but sometimes they actually make it worse.
Thank you so much, Sheena.
And thanks for having me.